Hey guys, we're back for another live stream, and we're live. So last night we finished up with the logical operator comparisons. Oh, sorry, we were doing OR statements. That's right. We finished off with the OR statements. So tonight we're up to we're starting with some else statements. Okay. So for those of you who are new to the stream, we're working through the free code camp JavaScript algorithms and data structures certification, and we're on the basic JavaScript section, which is the first section. We've done 67 out of 110 of the challenges, I guess you call them. So we've worked through these the last couple of nights. Tonight we're gonna we'll see how we go. We might get through most of these depending on how much time I find myself with. So I do have to get off to bed soon. So let's get stuck into it. Just before we start, I'm just going to check a couple of things. Cool. Right, let's do it. So else statements we use in line with if. So we used if statements previously. So what will happen is there'll be an if statement. So if something something, do this, else do this. So it's either one or the other. And that's what this is about. So it's saying combine the if statements into a single if else statement. So here we've got two if statements. If the value is greater than 5, print bigger than 5, or the result is bigger than 5, and it will return the result. So we're going to do if the value is greater than 5, the result is bigger than 5. Else the result is 5 or smaller. So if it's not bigger than 5, it's smaller than 5. So we automatically return that. Okay. Introducing else if. Okay, so else if statements are when you can combine multiple if statements with an else statement at the end. So you might have if number is bigger than 15, like here, return bigger than 15. Else if it's less than 5, return smaller than 5. Otherwise, if it's not under those, if it doesn't fall into one of those two conditions, return between 5 and 15. Cool. Sorry, I'm just looking at a couple of these settings here. So here it's asking us to convert the logic to use else if statements. So we say if the value is greater than 10, return greater than 10. And then this will say else if it's less than 5, return smaller than 5. Otherwise, return between 5 and 10. If, else if. Sorry, so I actually missed this. So what I did there was, it's if do this, else if do this, otherwise else return that. Alright, so logical order in if else statements. Order is important. In if else if statements, the function is executed from top to bottom, so you want to be careful what statement comes first. Take these two functions. So function of foo x, if x is less than 1, return less than 1. Else if it's less than 2, return less than 2. Else return greater than or equal to 2. So if it's less than 2, then it will return less than 2. So it'll always do this no matter what. The reason for that is it's not in the right order, so it will never get to here if it is less than 2. Correct. Change the order of the logic function so it will return the correct statement in all cases. So the smallest value will always go first. So just change this to say 5 and this to say 10. Change it to 10 there. If else statements can be chained together for complex logic. Here's pseudocode for multiple chained if else statements. So if condition 1, statement 1. Else if condition 2, statement 2. Else if condition 3, statement 3. Else statement n. Write chained if else statements to fulfill the following conditions. Don't know why they're saying chained. Ah, okay. Just saying you can do multiple. Alright, so here it's asking us to write chained if else statements. So if condition, so our condition is number, which has been passed into test size. If that's less than 5, then return, what is it? Number tiny. Return tiny. And then, alright, that's by hand. Else if number, I can't spell. Less than 10. Return small. And you know what, I'm going to copy and paste. How many have we got here? 10, 15, 20. And then else return huge. So if it's more than, if it's less than 20. Small 15 is medium and large. Now, you know, I actually think this will work like that. cool. So did you notice here it says number greater than or equal to 20 is returned huge. We don't actually have to do anything, like we don't have to write greater than or equal to anywhere in the else statement. We just say if it's not less than 20, it's automatically huge. Alright, golf code. Ooh, cool. I love golf, if you didn't know. In the game of golf, each hole has a par, meaning the average number of strokes a golfer expects to win. So if you don't know golf scoring, that's what it's about. I'm not going to read it to you because I know golf scoring, and if you're interested, you'll be able to read through this yourself. Par and strokes will always be numeric and positive. We've added an array all the names for your convenience. So your function will be passed par and strokes arguments. Return the correct string according to which table. To the table, which lists the strokes in order of priority. Yeah. So if your stroke is a 1, which means you have one shot, it's a hole in one. Alright. So if it's par plus 3. Alright. So you got whole variable names, which is an array of strings. And the golf score gets passed in par and strokes. So if it's pushing us to use if else statements again, so we'll use those. So we'll say if strokes equals 1, return. I'm going to copy these. My typing's been shocking lately. Else if par if strokes is less than or equal to par minus 2, and I'm going to put this, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to put this in brackets, so it says par minus 2, and that gives the number, and if strokes is less than that. I just do it because it's makes it easier to read, for me anyway. Return eagle. Okay, and then we're going to copy that because we don't want to type again. So that'll be equal birdie, par, bogey, double bogey, and then else return go home. So this is double bogey, and we'll do par plus 2, par plus 1, and this actually just becomes par, and this is called a par, let's say birdie, par, eagle, this is a bogey, a double bogey, and if you get more than 3 over the par, then it's we're going to change these, so birdie is less than 1, par minus 1, strokes is equal to par, if strokes is equal to or more than par plus 2, greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to, run the tests. Golf score 5-4. What's wrong here? Oh. So this should actually come out of there. Have I done that right? Parent strokes will always be numeric. Golf 4-1 should return hole in 1. Golf 4-5 should return bogey. Golf 4-5. Where's our bogey? Oh, this is +1, not +2. Double bogey is +2. There we go. Double bogey is if the strokes are greater than or equal to par +2. That's a double bogey. 4-7 else return. Oh. Turn the correct string according to the table. I've done that wrong. Strokes, if strokes is equal to par -2, it's an equal. If it's equal to par -1, if it's equal to par, it's a par. If it's equal to par +1, it's a bogey. If it's equal to par +2, it's a double bogey. Golf 5-2 should return eagle. Just come out anyway. Golf 5-2 should return eagle. 5-2. This one is greater than. So what I did there, because an eagle on a par 5, so this would be 5. 5 minus 2 is 3, which is actually a... Oh, that is right. If it's less than or equal to. Oh, because it can't, it's not always the same par. Yeah, that's right. Cool, so selecting from many options with a switch statement. Oh, cool, so this, yeah. This makes things a bit easier. So the switch statement is basically, instead of writing if-else statements, you can have one condition and different cases. So for example, here we've got a function that takes in a value and a variable, a string variable, empty string, called answer. Now we can create a switch with, it's asking us to write a switch statement to test which value and set its answer to the following. So it'll be val, so we'll take the value in and then we'll space this out a bit better. So I'm going to do case 1. So if the value is 1, then that's numeric, correct? So then you do colon there. So then you can return. Oh, actually, no, it doesn't return. It changes the value of answer. It changes the answer variable. Then answer equals alpha. And we need to break. You always break, because when that case is met, you break the statement, which means it breaks out of the switch. Okay. So we'll do the same thing here for case 2, case 3, case 4, and that's case 4, 3, 2, so alpha, beta, three is gamma and delta. So then that'll work. Yep. Perfect. Alright. So adding default option in switch statements. In a switch statement, you may not be able to specify all the possible values as cases or as case statements. Instead, you can add the default statement, which will be executed if no matching case is found. Oh, it's like the final else statement. And then if else chain. So how do we do it? So yeah, so defaults statement and a break. So I think you do your default at the end. So default, this all needs to be in a switch, of course. And we'll write the default first, so it wants us to set answer to equal to stuff. And don't forget to break. And then we're gonna do case A. If case is A, we'll do answer equals apple. And then a break. This is way too spaced out, but it's just so you can see it better. C is cat. B is bird, surprisingly. You should use a default statement. Didn't we use that? Default statement break. Switch of stuff A should have a value of apple. Sorry guys. It's because this is a string value. So because it's passed in as, why does it say switch of stuff 1? Oh, that's because it's not one of these values. Because 1 is not a string, it's going to automatically default out here. Cool. If the break statement is omitted from a switch statement's case, the following case statements are executed until a break. If you have multiple inputs with the same output, if case 1, 2, and 3, case 1 for 1, 2, and 3 will all produce the same result. Otherwise 4. Oh, yeah, okay, so we can do another switch statement for our value, and this one's going to be case 1, case, so if the case equals 1, 2, or 3, then answer equals, what is it, low? And then we can break. You know what, I'm actually going to do that again. I'm just going to copy that, because I can. And I'm going to say that's 4, 5, and 6. That'll be mid, and then 7. Sweet. Replacing if-else statements with chains with switch. You may, if you have many options to choose from, a switch statement can be easier than many if-else statements or chained if-else statements. Yes, for sure. So if else can be replaced with case 1, break, case 2, break, case 3. Yeah, so I could change this to a switch. You know what, I'll do it this way. Switch and value. So case, what's it? Bob. Answer Marley, Bob Marley. Very good. And we can break there. We will copy that. So if case is 42, that's a integer, so we don't have to have the quotes for string, then we have to write the answer. If the value is, if the case is 1, and say the answer is there is no number 1. If the case is 99, we can write missed me by this much, and then we can put I'm gonna use it as a case as well for 7, because we don't know that it's the default value. We could put default there, but we're not going to, because we don't know that it's the default. It doesn't tell us that there's a default value to be returned. Get rid of this. Missed me by this much. Missed me by this much. Exclamation. Don't want to get a typo happening. Alright, we're getting there now. Returning Boolean values from functions. So sometimes people use an if-else statement to do a comparison. So if A equals B, return true, else return false. There's a better way to do this. Since the triple equals returns true or false, we can return the result of the comparison. Return A. Okay, so rather than writing that, rather than saying if it is this, do this, or this, it's just return the result, either true or false, of A equal to B. Remember, triple means exactly equal. So we'll get rid of this, and we'll say function AB. So it's asking us to fix the function is less to remove the if-else statement. So A not equal B. We'll say return A equal B. Should return true. Is less 10, 15. Return A. Return true or false if A is equal to B. Can you A is less than or equal to B? So yeah, so you can just compare. So if return the true or false value of A less than or equal to B, which it is, so because 10 is smaller than 15. Return early pattern for functions. When return statement is reached, the execution of the current function stops and returns the calling location. Yes. So we'll never get to bye-bye. Modify the function A/B test so that if A or B are less than 0, the function will immediately exit. Okay, so if A or B is less than 0. If A is less than 0 or B is less than 0, return undefined. In the casino game Blackjack, player can gain advantage over the house by keeping track of relative number of high and low cards remaining on the deck. It's called card counting. If you don't know what card counting is, watch the movie 21. It explains it, and it is a awesome movie. Came out in about 2010, I think, roughly. 10 years old, wow. Yeah, it's really good movie. Having more high cards remaining in the deck. Okay, so we know how to count cards here. So if it's basically, it's saying if it's 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, add 1 to a count. If it's 7, 8, or 9, do nothing. And if it's 10, Jack, Queen, King, or Ace, minus 1 from the count. The lower the number, the more chance you have of winning. So we'll write a function. Okay, cool, this will be fun. So, write a card counting function. You'll receive a card parameter, which can be a number or a string, an increment or decrement the global count. So, a variable called count, that's the count. So, we'll use a switch here. So, you could do this with if and else statements, but we'll do it with we'll do it with a switch. So taking the card value, and if the case is equal to 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6, then count equals, well, we just did count plus equals 1, and then we'll break because we're going to deal a new hand, or we're going to do another count. We'll do the same thing with this, but we're gonna say if it's 7, 8, or 9, break. Actually do not need to do anything because it doesn't alter the count at all, so we just break from there if it's 7, 8, or 9. If it is equal to 10, Queen, and these are strings, so I'm going to put them King, Jack, Jack, Queen, King, or Ace, then the count is minus equal to 1, and then we'll break again. Hint, do not reset count to 0 when the value is 7, 8, or 9. No. Do not return an array. No. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm actually just going to return count. Do not include quotes in the output. Yeah, Perfect. I think that'll work. Should return 5 bet. Ah, okay, sorry. I fucking keep forgetting to read. The function will return a string. The function will return a string with the current count and the string bet if the count is positive, or hold if the count is 0 or negative. The current count and the player's decision bet or hold should be separated by a single space. Okay, so we could say so we need to return the count, we know that. We could just check that this works by doing console.log count, and we can put that here. No, we can't. Count plus should return 5 bet. So we're taking the card value in. Count is +1. Breaks out of this statement here and returns the count. Why can't we do a console? Just cut this for a second. So 1 2 2 1 0. So if the card is 2, the count is 1. If the count is 3, it's 2. If the count is 7, nothing happens. So it's 1 2 2 1 0. The count is 0 for this. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 2 3 4 5. It's getting the right count. So we can combine these two here. So from here we can say if count is less than or equal to 0, if count is less than 0, then return count plus hold. If it's less than 0, if the count is positive, count is function will then return a string. The current count and the string bet. If the count is positive, hold, or hold if it's negative. If the count is less than 0, or the count is equal to 0, you can do triple there. Then return hold, else return the count plus bet. What's that going to do? Saying nothing's working. Why? Zero, hold, 0, hold, 0, hold, -1, hold, hold. If the case is 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, add 1 to the count and break. So break return us to the alright guys, we're going to do 10 more minutes and then I'm going to have to call it a night. For some reason the count's not getting because it's returning here 0, hold. Saying return we got the space right. Saying returning 0 on that occasion. But if that's 2, the case is 2, then the count equals the count plus 1. Count is less than 0 or the count is equal to 0. So 7, 8, 9. Is returning 0, hold. Sequence 2, 3, 4. So some of these are right. Sorry. So currently 7, 8, 9 should return 0, hold. 7, 8, 9 is returning 0, hold, 0, hold, 0, hold, 0, hold, 0, hold, 0, hold, 0, hold. So 7, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All I wanted to do is break. Do not reset count to 0 when the value is 7, 8 or 9. I'm not. If the case is 7, 8 or 9, just break. don't think we have to use that. 789 should break. So if the case is 789, the count will be 0, which means if the count is less than 0, no, or the count equals 0, which it does, then return to the console count plus a space plus hold. Else return count plus a space with a bat, because if it's not less than 0 and it's not 0, then it has to be greater than 0, which means bat. If the count is less than 0, the count adds. So if it's high, because those cards have come out, you're expecting these. That's right, yeah. So 7, 8 and 9. Three. So 7, 8, 9 for us is returning this crazy shit. Zero hold, 0 hold. C7 is a break. CC2 so it does the switch, and then it comes out here. 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9. Should return 0, hold. That's what I've got. Two. This case is 2, and the count is +1. Return 7, 8, 9. Should return 0, hold. 7, 8, 9 for me is returning 0, hold. If 7, 8, 9, so if the count is less than 0, or the count is equal to 0, return this is gonna really annoy me. Oh, fucking hell. Sorry guys. What a dickhead. I have my console log out when I was checking. Damn, that makes me feel stupid. Alright, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. It's probably a good spot to end because I can't hardly keep my eyes open. I can hardly keep my eyes open. We're actually about to get into objects, so it's actually a really good time to stop, I think. So I'll end the stream there. Thanks again to everyone who's tuned in, or if you're watching this back, thanks for watching this. We'll be back in tomorrow night, and we may, let's have a look. What have we got? We got through. Oh, we only got through what did we get through? 12 tonight. Okay, that's okay. These are probably going to get harder towards the end, so hopefully tomorrow night we should be able to smash a few more out and get pretty much done here. Once we're off the basic, then we'll keep working down. Alright, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night.